Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Rostermania has kicked into overdrive. It's the 7th of October. You know what that means. The official date where contracts can be signed, and therefore for plenty of teams announcing departures from their organizations. It's all been going on today over in the Pacific region. This might well be the busiest day in the entirety of VALORANT esports this off-season. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. You're not going to want to miss this because it's chaos right now and so much reaction to it. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. We're going to dive right in. So today is the 7th of October, and basically what that means is the teams that can start announcing contract of players that were signed last season, and therefore some teams have done that, some teams are doing that, and in addition some teams are therefore announcing players that have not been re-signed that are able to go elsewhere, and so big teams and names at that. So just to clarify, it's 9 AM local time of the league's hub city, so it's already happened in Seoul. It's open for business. We're going to discuss that in a second. Berlin, it's just been 9 AM over there, so their EMEA is now free to go as well today. Shanghai, it's already happened, and then in about 5-6 hours time from uploading this video, that's when Los Angeles gets to 9 AM, and therefore teams in the Americas are able to do what we are now seeing happen around the world. We're going to dive straight in. EMEA, let's talk Liquid real quick. Patty Tech, after a great stint that he had this season, subbing in of course with Heretics, they decided in the end to keep the traditional route with Minibu in the roster. That was absolutely fair enough, but like, he did a stellar job, no doubt, and I think there was really not much doubt in the community that he would get a decent offer for next season. That, it seems, is what has happened, and reportedly it's Team Liquid looking to bring Patty Tech straight into their lineup. This, by the way, is what their lineup is apparently going to be, and well, there is a key name that is worth keeping in mind here. So Liquid is going to be Nats, Keiko, Kamek, and probably Patty Tech. That is the rumoured team of 4 as it stands. They seem to still be looking for 1. Of course, that's just a theory. We're not 100% sure. We're pretty sure, though, it is going to be those 4, Keiko, Nats, Kamek, and Patty Tech. Now, it does depend a bit who runs the controller there and who's going to be on the duelist, but there is a theory that they're looking for one of those 2 roles, and possibly the duelist role could well be available still on that team. And look, you gotta think, there is a duelist on the market right now who was meant to go to Bleed Esports, who's leaving Leviathan. If you haven't guessed yet, then, I don't know what you're playing at, right? So it's pretty obvious that who I'm talking about here. And maybe he could go to China is a possibility, or maybe Aspas could come to EMEA and play for a team like Liquid right now. The buyout would be pretty mega. We know that these teams, if they are going to get him bought out of Leviathan, and honestly, I think Lev needs someone to buy him out because they probably need that money to pay for the guys that they're bringing into their roster, such as Demon 1, as we currently understand. Someone will buy Aspas out of his deal. The question is who can afford it? Is it going to have to be a Chinese team, or could a team like Liquid say, all right, we've got a team of 4, we can do something here, or is it going to be a team in the Pacific? And that is a real interesting question over these last couple of minutes here, really, just because we know that Aspas, at least we believe that Aspas, wants to go to the Pacific region. That seemed to be his target choice of all the regions in the world that he could have gone to. That's why Bleed was an attractive prospect. In addition, of course, to the fact that they were paying him a fair chunk of change before they got booted out of the league. Quickly on the Americas, Sentinels tweet this out, making it, I think, pretty clear what's going on here. If we are getting debated, fair enough, but they hang up a 100 Thieves jersey and they hang up a Carmine Core jersey, and we know that their 2 rumoured players are Bang of 100T and, of course, Narrate, formerly of KC. So I wouldn't be massively surprised, and even Asana says the replies, Senfan are in for a surprise. So yeah, we'll see. But presumably today, tomorrow, sometime soon, I would imagine in the next 24-48 hours, we will get the Sentinels confirmation, because it now can be done, because we are on October the 7th, and therefore everything is free game for these teams to announce what exactly they are planning to do. But let's move over to the Pacific, because this has been pretty wild, these developments over the last few days. What's happening, of course, with DRX, and now what is happening with Gen.G. So Buzz confirms the rumor yesterday. We heard this talked about, that DRX were looking to get rid of Buzz and he's looking to go to T1, but he then responded and said, look, I've not signed anything with any team, definitely not T1, even though it could well be T1 and probably will be, let's be for real. But Buzz does say, I'm looking for a team. I can speak Korean, bit of English. I'm also interested in teams outside of Korea. So it doesn't seem like, despite the rumors that Buzz to T1 was not exactly locked in, but you know what I mean, basically going to happen. Buzz himself is saying, well, you know, I'm still open to opportunities. I'd say that it's 75-80% chance he goes to T1, but it's maybe not entirely guaranteed right now. And DRX did confirm this elsewhere, that it's not just Buzz who's gone, but also Bayon and Foxy9, both RFAs, restricted free agents as well. So this is crazy. I mean, like for DRX, yeah, they didn't get the result they wanted, but as I said yesterday, Bayon was promising as a rookie. Foxy9 and Buzz, like two of their best players really as far as I'm concerned. I like Flashback as well, and obviously the rest of the team is still good, but getting rid of those guys is questionable unless, I guess, there is the option to get some of the guys off Gen.G, and that seems to be the case right now. So let's go over there, right? So Texture is staying on Gen.G. No problems with that, no massive surprise. But the fact that the team entirely is blowing up is kind of remarkable. I don't think it should come as a massive surprise after what's happened at the World Championship, but I think it is worthy of note that it's pretty rare that we see changes like this happen without expectations that it was going to happen, right? There weren't really many rumors that Gen.G were going to change, but all of a sudden out of nowhere, Gen.G are now going to make a change. So Texture is staying on, Karon is staying on, the rest of the team is literally just gone for now. Now, as I say, they could bring these guys back. It's not impossible. They could release them and re-sign them, but it's so rarely that happens, especially when Texture and Karon have re-signed the deal. So they are re-signing contracts with these guys for the new season, but they have chosen not to do so, and they're literally saying thank you and goodbye, effectively, to a number of players. So with Meteor, they say, we wish him the best in his future endeavours. We are continuously in talks with the players. And they're making it clear that it's not necessarily over for all of these guys, that they are discussing potential re-signing agreements. Now, that may be related to lowering their contract numbers or they're lowering their contract expectations. It is often a thing. You win a big event internationally, the players are now more valuable than they were before. So if you want to re-sign them, you may have to pay more money to them to keep them around, and that may not be possible. They may want to explore other opportunities for more money, and therefore, Karon and Texture have re-signed deals. Meteor has not. He's let go. Lakia has not, he's been let go. And also, Munchkin, he's not, he's been let go. And they copy and paste the same thing again to say they were continuously in talks with the players. But this is a big deal, right? I mean, seeing those three guys go from the roster that won Masters Shanghai this year, they re-signed, of course, Texture in, they re-signed Karon, they re-signed their coach as well to the roster, and like, it's a big deal. And it's quite clear, right, that they are looking at alternatives, because they then tweeted this out: ready for your shot at the VCT Pacific League, apply today, basically, right? And they say, okay, you've got to be, oh, that's not the one, you've got to be Radiant, you've got to be 18 or older, and they're looking for like another ranked demon, basically, to take them to the top. So it's quite clear that they are at least considering, and they will, I'm almost certain, make some sort of changes. So yeah, I just don't think this team is going to stay together. And to be fair, you look at their results at the end of the season, right? The fact that they turned up to champions and got bopped out of their groups, that was not a good ending. And usually when you see that, the team will make a change. It's just the fact that they haven't really said much in some time, and now DRX and Gen.G are both blowing it up. It's a big surprise. Of course, DRX could be in position to capitalize here, but why has this happened is, I guess, the first question, really. Now, there was some speculation on the Reddit. Gen.G's not doing so well financially, but then the CEO, Arnold, comes on Reddit and says, where did this narrative come from? We consistently invest in our rosters, and our salaries are on average in the top quartile of teams. So his basic point is, it ain't financial reasons why we're doing this, it's some other reasons within the team. And maybe the team just wasn't getting along so well. They decided, you know what, we're going to go our separate directions. And, you know, money was probably involved on some level. I think it always is. But maybe the team felt like they'd be happier with some other alternatives. And of course, you know, there are players out there that are worthy potentially to get. I just wanted to mention this, by the way, because this guy Kruger, replied and says, according to me, Gen.G players and coaching staff reportedly had disagreements during scrims. These heated arguments affected team cohesion and made it harder for them to work together. The three players were released because of physical altercations with the staff. So either I'm tripping like major nutsack right now, or like I never said this, so I don't know where this guy's coming up with this from, and I've never heard of anything like this. So I think let's just keep our feet on the ground for a second and just see what happens over the next few days to maybe come up with an explanation for this. Now, Munchkin, being an LFT looking for a new team, is, well, Buzz is talking about it and saying I could play any agent, and I don't know, maybe there's something in that, because Munchkin's now looking for a team, Buzz is looking for a team too. Thought this is pretty funny, right? And he says, look, I'm still not so good at linguistics, right? Maybe it is English, but I will study if that's what it takes to win. But there was a lot of reaction, right, to these changes, and understandably so, because as Elsis goes on to say, just woke up and saw Gen.G and DRX break apart, like, TenZ and Sassy dipped out of there. And it's crazy, right, that not only have the Sentinels roster blown apart that won Masters Madrid, but also the same thing now for the team that won Masters Shanghai, and even TenZ takes the timeline and says, never would have expected any changes to Gen.G since they had such a solid year and gave APAC their first international title. Rostermania is as crazy as ever. And look, they had the group of death, as did Sentinels at the World Championship. Sen made it through. Gen.G didn't make it through. And that was potentially a deciding factor in the grand scheme of things. But just, they did have a great year. They won their first international title for the region. And yet still they're going to blow up their team, right? Which is, something's definitely going on there. It's kind of remarkable. But the question, I guess, for you guys is, what are Gen.G going to do? Because if it's not money reasons, like they say, what options do they have? Is there something that we could think about here, right? Because if we look at this, so YIRL makes this statement and people are wondering, okay, what are Gen.G going to do? Are they going to be full Korean? Are they not? Are they going to bring in internationals? Like, are they going to bring in imports? And or are they going to get some Japanese players? What's the plan going to be? And Juan says, well, he drops the tornado emoji. So this tornado is often used to talk about Aspas, right? Because Aspas was so good back in the day that people basically used to think he was spin botting. And so people like spin, tornado, whatever. He goes, get the picture. So that, I think, is where this kind of comes from. And Swan is kind of saying, like, don't count out the Aspas possibility. So could you imagine that Gen.G are making these moves, not necessarily because, but it potentially is a benefit for them that Aspas may be available. He would want to go to the Pacific region, we believe, and Gen.G have now still a very solid core and potentially have the opportunity to bring someone like Aspas into their lineup. It could be kind of wild. But yeah, intrigued to your thoughts as ever in the comments below. Where next for these respective teams? Certainly for Gen.G. What are they going to do? What are DRX going to do? Why are they making the decisions they have? That is still a question that I don't know the answer to. Very much intrigued to your thoughts as ever. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.